Yeah, hi folks. Now what kind of country is New Zealand when a leader of a political party can have a private citizen cancelled for merely satirising a co-leader of the Maori party, namely Wairewi Waititi? Well, that just happened. Lee Williams of the Cross the Rubicon channel has just been cancelled by Debbie Ngārewa Paka of the same party, a co-leader of the same party. And because of this, Lee will now probably lose his job and will be unemployable in New Zealand because the left-wing media in this country have branded him a white supremacist. He will no longer be able to get a job here. Now, folks, we have two choices here. We can either have unfettered free speech or we can have totalitarianism.
Free speech is the mechanism by which we keep our society functioning. It's a consequence of free speech and the ability to speak. People can put their finger on problems, articulate what those problems are, solve them, and come to a consensus. And we risk losing that. It's about language that's designed to control our freedom of expression. I've received many letters and many comments from friends of mine and colleagues who've been criticizing everything I say. No wonder. I don't speak perfectly, and my arguments aren't perfectly formulated, and neither are anyone else's. And we have to be able to say what we have to say badly, or we won't be able to think at all. And I know where that leads. I studied totalitarianism for 4 decades, and I know how it starts.
Exactly. And now to a bit of background about the Maori Party.
Want to know more about the Māori Party? Here's 10 policies in 40 seconds. Raise the minimum wage to $25. Replace Pākehā place names with original Māori names. Establish a Māori parliament. Change New Zealand's official name to Aotearoa. Overhaul Te Tiriti settlement process. Return conservation land to whānau, hapu and iwi. 19 million for Te Matatini. Curb immigration. A 2% tax on long-term empty houses. $600 million for an independent mokopuna Māori care entity.
Yeah, so in other words, separatism. And now to Waititi, also known as Waitutits.
We're going to continue to follow that subject. I want to ask you about something that in the eyes of some of our viewers will seem significantly more trivial, and I know for you is an issue of importance, the parliamentary dress code. So in November, you were invited to make submissions about the removal of neckties from the dress code. Why didn't you make a submission?
This wasn't about the removal of neckties. This was the ability to be able to wear the adornments of our own culture.
Mm. Yeah, right, okay. These are cowboy hats, and these are from America, I think. I think that's called cultural appropriation, and you wear those hats in Parliament. Anyway, now to the anti-racist racists.
Go for it.
Go for it. So, kia ora whānau. We're back here in our caucus room, at our Pā'arakeke room, and we just got kicked out of the house again, really. We just got kicked out of the house for fighting against racism.
Yeah, right. Now, every second word she spews out, they spew out, is racism. Yet, the very name of their party is racist.
I don't even know how else to headline that, really, eh? That's what it was, 1890.
Yeah. Well, he got kicked out and you followed, and I had the one who pulled me out of the house as well.
So it's very hard in a space like that the only people that feel racism are those who have been attacked and affected. And so we've been feeling this for the last 2 weeks. It's been a horrible place to be. And the problem is that this house has bred that type of behaviour for many, many years. And it's got to stop. This country is a mature country.
Yeah, so why can't you accept free speech?
We're moving into a different space and a different era where we're going to bring this country together, but together means not together as according to somebody else. It's together as according to Te Tiriti Waitangi. So we, our kōrero to our whānau out there, tangata whenua and tangata tiriti, we must unite against racism, and we must unite to grow the true intent of what the Treaty of Waitangi is.
Yeah, the true intent of the Treaty of Waitangi was never about separatism.
Which was a Tiriti Central Aotearoa.
Hi, so we were in the house 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock every day, we had questions. Again, Judith Collins gets up and does a Prime Minister standby. And for the last, as Lauri said, the last couple of weeks we've been listening to the National Leader bash and carry on about any Māori kaupapa, Māori Health Authority, He Puapua, and basically her allegations and her attacks at us being separatists and us needing our own by Māori for Māori kaupapa. And we've sat there and within our limited capacity been able to put a point of order. The last couple of days we've been really pushing back to say this is wrong. This is not how we should be allowing the lawmaker's house to be behaving. The house that has to receive all of your Māori, all of your aspirations and serve you, then defend itself because some white politician has decided that this is her strategy to bring back her ageing, I don't know, I'll get growled for saying this, but ageing voters because she can't think how to do it by being genuine and having great policy. So instead, her aim, like Brash and Trump, is to...
What has Trump got to do with New Zealand?
Pick on Māori, pick on tangata whenua who are already getting a shit time in this country because of racist policies and systems. So that's what we've been enduring. Today we kick back, and I'm going to say this. It was good to see our Prime Minister trying to take her on and push back as well. But in the end of the day, the House behaviour is determined by the Speaker of the House, Trevor Mallard, and we've put the whittle to him that there is a fine line, and this line has been crossed weeks ago. So that was, and it's how Puku and our Wairu has been feeling in the age.
We have a situation where you have a National Party that is polling lowly, you have a National Party leader that is polling lowly, and so what the strategy is that they need a political football, and that political football has been Māori. That political football is tangata whenua, that's not acceptable. It's 2021, they're acting like it's 1921. That behaviour, 1821, and that behaviour needs to stop. And there's probably another thing that I think that is really important, which seems to be missing from the dialogue in the House. And we hear it when they talk about He Puapua, but let's talk about the good things. Let's talk about tino rangatiratanga, let's talk about mana motuhake. They're trying to throw all this sort of stuff at it, but hey, how about this? Maybe tino rangatiratanga works, eh? Maybe mana motuhake works. Why don't we try it? What are they afraid of? That is the kaupapa, and that is the depth of the kōrero that we need to be having that Judith Collins does not want us to have. And that's what we need to be sorting out.
What we talk about maturity is maturity up here. And so you've got an older generation who is not mature enough.
Really? The older generation is not mature enough? Wow.
To have that conversation. But our plea is to the younger generation out there who is mature to have this conversation.
Oh, really? The brainwashed youth are mature enough to have this conversation. My God. Anyway, now to a bit of typical satire from Lee.
Hello, New Zealand. This is your dictator speaking. Your Prime Minister, your democratically elected Prime Minister. With the help of the Dominion voting machine and outside players like George Soros and Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates Oh, and Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, and a few others, yes. Because we knew that I wouldn't have won an election otherwise without their help.
Yeah, and the Waititi one he did was very similar to that, and Lee gives a sample of that in the next clip.
Well, that's it now. They've, in a way, done me a big favour by getting me cancelled, destroying my life. I can fly back to the UK tomorrow. I've still got a Kiwi passport. I can come back whenever I want. They can't stop me. Is it worth me coming back? Probably not, because I'll never get a job here now. Because the New Zealand public in general are weak as piss. And they believe everything they read. In the newspapers, watch on Stuff and News Hub. And anything that Jacinda said, let's be nice, let's be kind. Anything she says is just, oh my God, it's magical, isn't it? You really believe Jacinda is doing New Zealand any favours? Honestly. She's dividing this country, but you can't see it because you're blinded. And it's taken lots of Brits like myself. I went out last night to a gathering, and half a room of Brits, because they've come in from the outside and they can see it. But Kiwis have been brought up with it, and they're completely indoctrinated into believing that giving Maori over and over and over and over and over and over again, hundreds of millions, is the right thing to do. Does anything ever change? No. I've been here for 20 years, nearly. Nothing changes. New Zealand was a better country 20 years ago.
That it was.
What it is today. Nothing changes. Like I said, this time next week I could be in the UK. And I'll have my hat on, I'll have my glasses on, and I will have the tattoos all over my face. Say, bro! Give us your money, bro. Make me rich. Buy my home in Queenstown and in Auckland. And that disgusting Debbie Packer with that tattoo on her face. In the UK, she'd probably be in jail. Here she's an MP because she's a Maori. This is what it's like. And these people call everybody racist. All the time. Racist, racist, racist. And they are the face of racism.
Exactly.
And privilege. Absolute privilege. Look at me. I took the piss out of them just like I did then, but without the hat.
Yes. Anyway, now to Carl Bromley, who really sums it up well.
Malfeasance is not okay. It's not okay for a Member of Parliament to abuse their power and position of influence to trump up and incite hatred, injury and harm towards a member of the New Zealand public. And we have exactly this issue. Co-leader of the Māori Party, Debbie Ngārewa Packer, posted on her Facebook a petition by, get this lovely Marxist language, Justice Aotearoa, that requested the specific firing, termination of a man's employment, a man by the name of Lee Williams. You know him as Cross the Rubicon. Now, Debbie Packer posted this on her Facebook, and she said, let's show this racist how we feel. Subsequently, there were many posts and comments that acknowledged that they had signed this petition. You'll see the terminology done, signed, etc., etc. Not only, you'll also read in the comments the vitriol and hatred toward this man. Now, regardless whether or not you agree with Lee Williams and how much you agree with him or not, right now in New Zealand, supposedly, we still have the ability to exercise freedom of speech and freedom of political view without interference. Do we want a New Zealand Aotearoa that enables members of parliament to use their power, influence and position to go after the very livelihoods of individual New Zealanders who challenge our government, its policies and the members of parliament in regards to their behaviour and policies.
No, we don't want a country like that. Anyway, now to our buddy ex-army Paz in the UK.
Hello again, folks. Now, I've had permission from the Longhead Colonel to stop decorating and do this video because it's quite urgent. Because I'm going to ask all my subscribers, or those who regularly watch my videos, to help me uncancel someone. Now, as you all know, cancel culture is a big thing on social media platforms. You say the wrong thing, usually something conservative, or something that's contrary to the virus that shall not be mentioned, and you're gone. It is very easy to make grown people cry on YouTube or whatever, simply for having a different opinion. Anyway, there's a friend of this channel called Lee Williams. He runs his own channel called Cross the Rubicon. It's quite successful. He's got 15,000 subs. He's an Englishman living in New Zealand, and he is currently the victim of the most hateful vitriol I've ever seen online. Now, if Cross the Rubicon had ever said anything I consider to be racist, hateful, inciting violence and hate against anyone simply because of the colour of their skin, gender, whatever, I wouldn't have promoted him. The guy just gives his opinions. All right, they're near the knuckle, but some opinions need to be near the knuckle. And all he does is call out the people who are taking a piss in New Zealand currently, and there's nothing wrong with that. And because he says what he does and he calls out the wrong people, he is the victim of a hate campaign by the left. And he is especially despised by two certain left-wing extremists who have their own really shitty YouTube channels on here. Now, these two lobotomized jizz chimps have started a petition, or are part of a petition, to ruin Lee Williams' life. And they want to ruin his life because of what he says, because he has a different opinion. Now, there are people out there who are emotionally stunted and can deal with the fact that people don't think like them. Not everyone's the same. Now, I'm not sure if the pair of them were behind the doxing of Lee Williams, but at least one of them definitely was. One of them even does videos about Lee Williams on a daily basis, sometimes 2 and 3. Now, these videos don't pick apart Lee Williams' political opinions in a mature way. These videos, and this channel in particular, are downright hateful. So anyway, I would like you to help me wipe the smirks off these virtue-signalling, self-righteous, far left-wing extremist boobies by going to this change.org petition to ruin Lee Williams' life, because this petition has 6,000 left-wing bigots signing it, and they want him to lose his job. Now, because of my channel, I've had loads of idiots come on here, give me abuse, and say all sorts, but not once have I wanted them to lose their jobs or to wish them harm. That's not the right thing to do. And I'm on the right of politics. But that's what these bigots want. They want to ruin his life. They want him deported from New Zealand, and they want him to lose his job. Currently, he is suspended from his job pending an inquiry. Now, how sad is that? Look yourselves in the mirror. If you want someone to lose his livelihood, to be unable to provide for his family a roof over their heads, food on their table, simply because you don't like what they say, look yourselves in the mirror. Or in the case of one of you, a wide mirror. I think this is really wrong, and I don't think petitions should be set up in order to have people sacked or just to ruin their lives simply because you hate them. And that's the key word here, hate. The only hate shown here in this story is from the idiots who want to ruin this man's life. So my favour to you, all right, I've got 41, nearly 42,000 subs. I'm not bragging, but the link is down below. Go to this petition, go to this particular page, and report it. Go to this bit here, report it for harassment and bullying, and then in the description box say the reason you're reporting this petition is because it's defamation and that the petition is harmful. Now, I know it's a long shot, and this petition is heading for 10,000 signatures, but we can't let these idiots win. And I would absolutely love it, and I think Lee Williams would love it as well, if we can turn this around and get him uncancelled. So it's up to you folks, okay? If you got it in you, if you want to do this, if you want to slap that smirk off these idiots' faces, then do it, okay? Links down below. Report this petition, say it's defamation, assassination of character, and that it's harmful. That's all you have to do. Right, that's it. I'm back to my decorating because the long-haired colonel stood there with a whip. So share this everywhere, okay? Let me know what you think in the comments. And until my next one, Roger Trout. All right, Jesus Christ.
The guy is brilliant. Yes, yeah, do what he says. It's a really good thing to do. Anyway, yep, I'll carry on a bit. Yeah, now folks, I've posted links to ex-Army Paz's channel, change.org, Carl Bromley's channel, and to a GoFundMe page for Lee. So please get there and help Lee if you can.